in there. Touchdown. I-N-D-Y. Jonathan Taylor.
Wheeler finds Quan from the logo.
Here's Halliburton into the front court. Mishandled it, but gets a shot. Hits it! Hits it!
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
We want all these games to be meaningful games, and the only way for us in the situation we're in is by keep winning. Because if you don't, now, like you're going to get separated from trying to win a championship. Like you're not winning the Big Ten if you can't win this game. You're just not, because I don't know how many losses they'll get. And so, like, that's where it's at. But they can still be meaningful no matter what, because you're improving your seed, you're helping yourself get better, you're doing things. But, it's why you play the game. You play the game to win a Big Ten championship, to go to a Final Four and hopefully win a national championship.
Matt Painter right there, the head coach of the Boilermakers. Am I the only one fired up about this Michigan-Purdue game coming up later on tonight? Again, that thing is underway early at 6:30. You're being peacocked tonight at 6:30. Know that to be certain. But I am fired up about this. So we come off, I don't know if we were off for President's Day last year. And I was a little bit apprehensive because I like keeping the streak alive. But as I went through yesterday, I thought, well, I'm having a hell of a time. I don't really mind. But it is good to be back, and especially rolling into a week of basketball like this, because you have Purdue hosting Michigan coming up later on tonight against 6:30. That is the tip time for Mackey Arena in West Lafayette. That was Matt Painter talking about, if you have any visions whatsoever of winning the Big Ten, this is a must-win. So he took the cue of me right here and called this a must-win. And Dusty May's team is absolutely loaded. Boilermakers are feeling much better, I'm assuming, about their product. You saw what they did in Iowa City to the Hawkeyes on Saturday, late afternoon, early evening, too. So everybody seems to be primed for this matchup at Mackey coming up later on tonight. Full discussion with that. I know Tom Dienhart's going to join us from Golden Black Illustrated a little bit later on. We'll get more into the nuts and the bolts of this, because after this, you've got IU Purdue Part 2 from Mackey on a Friday night, everybody. The Friday night game is what you got. Thank you. The Friday night IU and Purdue matchup. But first things first, this Boilermaker-Michigan game later on tonight with Tom Dienhart coming up a little bit later on in the show. Again, Boilermakers playing much better than – it's still not at the level in which I think we all expect. And Michigan and Dusty's team is loaded. But if you think about this, Dusty's team went through a time where they were kind of having to regroup, because they start the season out. The first month of the college basketball season, they're rolling up everybody. And I mean rolling up everybody like I would your team at the Hyper on Court 1. Like 20 plus. And not even worried about it. And then they hit a rut, which I think you can look at it a couple of different ways. You can look at it as, hey, it's a teaching moment, and everybody says that. Everybody says that it's a teaching moment when you end up regaining that form. If you don't regain that form, there's nothing good about the teaching moment. Or the teaching moment that you're having, just simply put, did not work. But when you regain your form, that's a feel-good. And Michigan did regain their form. And there's a lot of that is kind of off the record, peripheral stuff that goes on in this world, this landscape of getting players, whether you want to describe it as the transfer portal or the transfer poaching, whatever. You got that working as well. There is a lot of dialogue that surrounds a Tuesday night at Mackey Arena in West Lafayette. So who is excited about it? I am. 6:30 again later on tonight. Tom Dienhart's going to join us a little bit later on. We shall discuss it. I told James walked in the building today, And I sit out here. I've gone ahead and decided to make this my office out here, this whole lounge area. And I don't know if you guys have seen a picture of it or not. I do some videos sitting there. It's not really supposed to be my office, but given I don't have an office and I don't really want an office, I've gone ahead and said this chair is going to be my office so I can see everybody walk up the stairs and walk in. Or if you take the elevator and you're truly lazy, because the elevator takes stinking forever to go up one floor. If you're truly lazy and you can take the elevator, I see you walk off. So when James got off, or no, I'm sorry, he walked up the stairs, I said, hey, everything college basketball this week, let's go. Now, granted, it's not going to be all college basketball for me today. That's not how I'm going to start you out because we have to make up some ground. But this is going to be a major college basketball week because now we start stepping. We start stepping to the end of February, the end of the regular season, and we're going to get into some results that are going to matter for these teams for a variety of reasons. And one of those would be tonight in West Lafayette. Tom Dienhart a little bit later on. Again, he will share with us his thoughts on this matchup, which Matt Painter basically is called must win for Purdue, and I dig it. And here's what we got. I'm assuming I'll do it this way. If Purdue wins, then I'm going to reach out to Matt and try to get Matt on. And if Purdue doesn't win, I probably won't. I'll wait on that until a better time and try to get Dusty. So we shall do it that way. Shout out to our good friend and the voice of the Pacers, Kristen Neri, who with this time off, with NBA All-Star Weekend and the Pacers getting back in action. Not tonight, but Kristen Neri's heading up to Mackey in West Lafayette. You're going to get a coaching tutorial tonight between Painter and May. Think about this for a moment. You got two Hoosier State coaches, and you have one from Greene County, so you know you can't go wrong there. So you got a coach from Greene County. What do you got here? You got Delta. So you've got, up around Muncie and Delaware. I'm assuming Delaware County and Greene County matched up. You cannot go wrong right there. It is. We're not talking about, up all the way up another armpit or, we're talking about the who's who of places that know basketball. In this state, clash later on tonight. That's what it's all about. Kristen Neri, enjoy that coming up later on this evening. I do want to double back because we didn't have a chance to talk about this yesterday. Going back to IU and Illinois, it was one of those games for Hoosier fans where you knew going in that you probably were not going to be up for the challenge. And you certainly knew when the three-pointers weren't dropping because you knew you were going to get absolutely buried on the glass, and they got absolutely buried on the glass. Now, I've made a point about this before, and I don't think that there is a difference here or there on the outcome of the game. Illinois was too good, even without Stojakovic, and on the glass, with or without, they were probably going to do exactly what they did. I still wonder, and you guys have given me your thoughts on why the freshman Trent Sisley gets 0 clock. He got mop-up minutes. Hey, your ass goes in right here. He got like minutes that James would get. James would be rocking a man bun out there, and they would put him into those mop-up minutes. That's what Sisley got. And I know that it wouldn't have mattered, but it kind of makes you wonder, especially now magnified in this landscape, what the head coach thinks about a recruit that was one of those that absolutely everybody in this state wanted, because he's getting 0 clock. Now, we'll tell you this, in watching that game on Sunday, I was kind of worn out about watching Connor Enright get worked on a switch defensively in the low post. I've been over that for like games now. I'm really over it. I'm not suggesting that he can't play, but what I am suggesting is there something else than automatically switching and getting him maxed up against somebody 6'11" who just backs his ass down and lays it up? Is that okay if I feel that way? Because that's exactly how I feel. But I do wonder, even if he is not great, and I'm not suggesting he is great, and I'm not trying to make a Southern Indiana connection because Santa Claus is not close to Greene County, although I like going down there a great deal. That is the home of what, James? The world's largest public outdoor bath. Holiday World.
Oh,
that's where Southern Indiana takes a bath down there.
the wave pool, man. It's a good time.
The wave pool is going to clean you up for a month down there. True story. I love it. I love Holiday World. Love the area. I do often find myself thinking, why in a season like this or a game like that, or there have been more than a handful, I think, of games this season, I kind of wondered, why not a little bit more of this kid? Why not see a little bit more? We're watching what's going on right now. And Nick Dorn, in the moments when he knocked down threes, looked fantastic. But in the moments in which he doesn't, you kind of wonder why he's out there at all. And you just kind of, you wonder in situations when things go downhill. And granted, I don't think that was going to be a determining factor whatsoever. But I wouldn't mind if you think that he is a guy that's going to be at all for your future. Maybe you don't. Why he doesn't get a little bit more clock. Does that make anybody else wonder? Maybe you're a one and done down there. People have told me this. Why does Darren DeVries want to push him to the transfer portal? I don't think you have to push anybody to be in the transfer portal. But there are moments I just wonder, even if it's not a difference between winning and losing, and don't get me wrong, that was not going to be a difference between winning and losing. Even if it isn't, I kind of wonder why just not a little bit. A little bit at all? More than just mop up. That is a thought. Illinois is, to me, one of the most talented teams in the nation. And I don't know if I've made this known. I am a tremendous fan of Brad Underwood because Brad Underwood coaches his guys exactly how now I would want to be coached. Now, I would tell you, I would be the biggest wuss in the world back when I was growing up. Back when I would play, there's no way I'd want to be coached like that because I was a wuss. But now that I'm all grown up and I'm an adult, and I see the good that can do, I absolutely would want to be coached like that. Does that make sense? Anybody else grow up that way? When it really mattered to me, I screwed it all up. And I would not have taken it. And I would have cried like a big baby and made excuses. All this stuff that I rally against today. But now I kind of look at it and I go, yeah, this guy can make a difference when he's down there still feeling like he can get in your ass about something. That's all right to me. It's good. And they call it coaching hard. Back then it was just called coaching. Now it's called coaching hard because you got different levels of how you can coach now, how it's described. Back then it was just coaching. Like all coaches were like that. They rolled up in their polyester softball shorts. You know, constantly digging at their crotch area because those things make you chafe a little bit, make you scratch. But it was just a rite of passage that they would coach that way. Now it's called coaching hard. But I like Brad Underwood a great deal. I think Brad Underwood is a guy that can get the most. Now, he may run some people off after a year, but he can get the most out of what he has. I think what he has right now can be a difference maker in this NCAA tournament because they can do it both inside and out. Wagler is a guy that can score on, as they say again today, all levels. And even if he misses a shot or somebody misses a shot, they have dudes that can go out there and go get it. Without a lot of resistance. So, now Illinois is right at the top of that list. And again, the whole Sicily thing would not make a difference in that game. And I realize that. I just am curious why nothing at all. And whether or not there is a belief that this guy can play longer than just this year. I think that's where you get to. IU Purdue, the next up for the Hoosiers coming up on Friday night at Macker Arena in West Lafayette. Yeah, I did watch the Daytona 500. I didn't mind the Daytona 500. I was kind of in and out of it. I mean, really, all you have to do now is watch the last part of it. It's funny. I guess we're in an era, and this is a better question for Jake because Jake is so deeply rooted in racing. But I think about races like Sunday at Daytona, and everybody talks about, well, it's just bumper cars, and then at the end, everybody wrecks one another. But one of the greatest races of all time, was it not Daytona 500s of all time? Was it 1979? And the reason why I remember this is because it was the one car, and it was the Hawaiian Tropic car. You had Donnie Allison and Cale Yarborough that wrecked one another, and then Richard Petty went on to win. And that's one of the most noted Daytona 500s of all time right there. And that looked eerily reminiscent to most of the NASCAR races, if certainly not the very important top shelf races like Daytona, like Talladega. It looked very reminiscent back then to what we see today, even if we end up tearing it down because we call it bumper cars, glorified bumper cars. That's all it is. Seems like one of the most glorified races, especially the elite level, the Daytona 500s of all time, was that particular one with Allison and Yarborough, and they actually got into a fight in the infield afterwards too, which I think just adds to it. That is just a thought. I know you guys are sick of the subject, and so am I. I'm biased. I am. I'm biased because I lived with it, because we soak in it. But I am so sick and tired of hearing nationally the dialogue and the Pacers included in tanking. There are a lot of different layers to this. And let me tell you, if you guys think you can fix it, then fix it. But until further notice, why would any team not try to do what is best for their team? In turn, what they're doing that is best for their team, they're doing what is best for their fan base. Why would you not do that? Why would you work counterproductive? So I'm sorry, you're going to soak up all that incredible integrity that everybody nationally is talking about as being lost in all this. You're going to be soaking in all that integrity while somebody else prospers, while somebody else steps on your shoulders and moves up and does what you could have done, but you didn't because you are bathing in the light of integrity that all the national folks that are unemployed in the basketball business are talking about it or telling you that it's not going on with your organization. How about smooching our rear end? Here's what we know around here. We know around here that we watched the team. We watched a team and a player leave it all out there, which is what it's all about. We have been around and seen a number of Tuesday or Wednesday nights around here when a team would roll in, for example, on a random Tuesday or Wednesday from out west, and their marquee player all of a sudden wouldn't play. And it's described as load management, and that's okay. You know what? This is a form of Pacers and Pacer fans' load management. They are managing the load of this team that has been drastically compromised because of injury, that pushed it to the last possible note in June with their elite level player. And now you have the NBA in their holier-than-thou standing step in and say, you're not running your organization right. Well, you know what? You can smooch it. What they're doing and what they want to do is what is best for them. Just like the players and just like other organizations. I don't care if you're losing. I don't care if you're winning. You're doing what is best for you. So my advice is to keep on keeping on. Now, it should not matter what Kendrick Perkins has to say. And I love Bobby Marks, and I'm always going to have Bobby Marks on, but I don't give a fat crap what he has to say about it either. What matters is what goes on around here. Yes, we live in our bubble. I like our bubble. Why? Because that's the bubble in which we live. Yeah, the bubble in which you go out and you pay the price of admission. And you know what? I will be honest with you. From what I've witnessed, I haven't seen a lot of fans that have been dissuaded from going to games here, watching the Pacers play by how they're handling the season. I don't think there's a reason why Adam Silver and the NBA needs to go ahead and nose themselves in and coach up this Pacer team. I think they're doing a damn good job of it. Fans are still coming out. Fans are still entertained. And I hate entertaining losses. I do. But I also understand that you're trying to do what is best for your organization, thus what is best for your fan base. And I don't care what goes on anywhere else. You shouldn't care what goes on anywhere else. Now, we're going to magnify, we're going to joke about, we're going to make fun of those that cover this sport nationally. And you know me, this is true. There is no lover of basketball more than me around here, all levels of basketball. I love basketball. I completely understand what is going on. It's not like this is a team that all of a sudden is half-assing it into their situation. This is a team that has, because it took it all the way to the end. For one chance, for one shot, it's like a damn Eminem song around here. They lost themselves into last season and thoroughly compromised this season. And I'm sorry, for that, there should be a stinking reward. And a reward is 1 through 4 to me, no matter how you get there. And the NBA trying to coach up the Pacer organization, just keep your noses out of it. You know, just think about how you have made the All-Star weekend better, or can make Saturday better, or how the games were better, how there's more competition. You guys can figure it out. And then I tell you what, once you guys figure it out, and then you place a new set of rules down, and then we'll have the Pacers follow those guidelines. But until further notice, they're going to utilize what they can right now in the fashion which is best suited for their organization and for their fan base. And so Adam Silver, and for the talking heads nationally, you guys can all blank off. Seriously. Every last one of you. Because what matters around here is us. All right, quick break. We'll come back with that to Tom Dienhart, Greg Rakestraw. 2 and then done today. All right. I told James when he walked through the door, I said, a lot of hoop this week. A lot of college basketball in particular this week. A lot of your reaction. I know that the window is open for franchise tags. But by now, if you haven't figured out what the Colts are going to do and what they should do, I don't really know if you need that much of a Colts tutorial at this point. But I'm sure we'll discuss that too. Greg Rakestraw, bottom of the hour. Tom Dienhart, West Lafayette. You got a big one with Michigan and Purdue coming up later on tonight. All right, the Stream the App, HD Radio, the AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. I am so stinking glad to be back here in the afternoon. The only thing that is missing is a road show. Who's going to step up and have me out of the bar here soon? Like, I think James noticed this. I think I'm like tweaking a little bit here. I got the tweakage going on. I've had like one road show in almost 2 months. And it was great, like Rally House. But yeah, bars. Hey, got to get back on it. Actually, I know this to be true. The month of March, we're going to be all over the central Indiana map. That is good with the Final Four being here. All right, quick break. The Stream the App, HD Radio, 317-239-1070. That is the text line, which is wide open. If you want a phone, you can at 239-1070. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Don't go anywhere. That's your good friend John with some sound advice right here. You looked in the mirror the other day and you thought, what in the world is going on? You love the old school Seinfelds, and you kind of witness you going through the Costanza Classic Horseshoe Design, which is hair loss, and you don't like it. Why would you? If you don't want it, you have options of your real growing hair. 317-522-2995. That's WeGrowHairIndy.com. Darren Andrews is waiting for you to call, waiting for you to get started on your reclamation project, which is your real growing hair. And there's nothing fake about it. There's no toupee. There's no glue. There's no cement, nothing like that. This is your real growing hair. 317-522-2995. That's WeGrowHairIndy.com today. Hey, it's John here for the District Tap. What a great time to go to the District Tap. I will say this, even beyond Michigan, Purdue later on tonight, you've got games everywhere. You've got late games this evening, too, you'll want to check out. And the District Tap, with all their TVs, their damn good food and happy hour specials, give you the opportunity to do just that. We're talking Northside Clearwater Crossing, downtown Indy. No better place to go to soak it all in, especially for you, the sports fan, on a Tuesday. That is the District Tap. Ask about their live music. Ask about their event space. You can find that and more, thedistricttap.com.
The Ride with JMV.
Dude, most metal.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
James over there. My name is John. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday. I know we were off yesterday. We got a lot of ground to make up with you. Appreciate you. Tim McGraw, tickets a little bit later on. Is this Tim McGraw right here?
This is not, no.
Tim McGraw was at the what was that? The Winter Classic they did in Tampa a couple of weeks ago. The outdoor thing. Yeah. Tim McGraw, his father is the late relief pitcher Tuck McGraw. Most noted for a lot of you, closing out the 1980 World Series for the Phillies over the Kansas City Royals. And most noted that particular season was when George Brett, the Royals third baseman, hit .390 and actually had a chance for .400. And then also had some issues during that season, too. I think he had hemorrhoids where he had to sit out a game. You ever had hemorrhoids, James?
Fortunately, no.
Do people still get hemorrhoids?
I'm assuming they do.
Is Preparation H still on the market?
See, I know what Preparation H is, so I'm assuming yes.
Well, see, it's funny. Like those old school brands like Preparation H or Primatene Mist, which used to be staples on television commercials. Often, you don't see them as much anymore.
Well, it looks like Preparation H is still a thing, so.
Anybody out there, when's the last time anybody out there had hemorrhoids? Here recently? Give me your hemorrhoid update. 239-1070, 317-239-1070. Is Greg ready? Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline. Greg Rakestraw from Southern Indiana covers all levels of sports, joins us now. Have you ever had hemorrhoids?
Thankfully, I've avoided that, John. Thankfully, I called in to be a guest on the show, not to give the latest Preparation H update.
I was just kind of curious. I mean, you were an athletic dude. I know that.
Yep.
So now you do a lot of sitting, so I don't know. Wait, what's more logical? You getting hemorrhoids when you sit too much or when you're active?
It is the latter, but thankfully I have not gotten those yet, and hopefully I keep it that way.
I think the tagline was Preparation H was helps reduce swelling of hemorrhoidal tissue, and it would keep you from itching or scratching at it. So I guess it was itchy. I don't know. I guess I've never had them either. Maybe I had, and I just don't know what they are.
I'm just going to take your word for it, John.
Gotcha. Greg Rakestraw with us. So Matt Painter has called this basically a must-win later on tonight for Purdue in terms of your chances of winning the Big Ten. Do you ride along with that theory?
Yes. And again, I'm trying not to be overly repetitive. This is an important game because you're playing one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah.
And I should care more about Big Ten championships. They give you a trophy. They give you a banner. It's something to be recognized years from now. But again, because Purdue has had those as of late, I want to have the experience of seeing them in the Final Four in Indianapolis. That's what I care about. So to me, this game is much more about, hey, how do you compare with one of the best teams in the country that happens to be in your league that you might see in the Elite Eight or the Final Four, the national championship game? That's where the importance of this game lies to me.
See, while I understand your thinking, I like Matt's better. Because I think it's anything you're a part of, especially with this group that's going to be at the tip top of the level all time in Purdue basketball legend, you want to go out winning absolutely everything. So why not this?
Well, you are all for whatever team must win is.
Right.
That I know.
There's no doubt.
So if somebody says it's a must win,
yes,
John immediately gets on board. Hey, listen, any year you win the Big Ten is really impressive, especially this year because of just how loaded the top of the Big Ten is. And maybe now that it is an 18-team league, that is even more impressive when you do it. And so I'm not trying to minimize winning a Big Ten championship. But again, we've seen that of recent ilk for Purdue. We've only seen them make the Final Four once since 1980. And obviously that was just 2 years ago. They made the national championship game. But that was where the bar was set for this team coming in. Be a Final Four team. I don't think those goalposts have moved. And so that's really what I care about in terms of why, again, whatever this team does in February, even early March, I'm like, okay, that's great. Now, show me what you do in late March or getting to April. That's what I care about.
He has never knowingly had hemorrhoids. He's Greg Rakestraw on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. What's the biggest matchup issue you think for the Boilers going into this game tonight against Michigan at Mackey?
Well, I think it's overall, what Michigan do from a side. I mean, there's overall stinking good, period. But this is, while you've got Jacobson, this is still when he's on the floor, he's not exactly the tallest or most athletic in terms of low block. Obviously, you got Clough at 6'10", 6'11", but Michigan's size catches my attention in this game. And again, they're just overall really stinking good.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, too. And it's funny, you look at their stats, and they're not eye-popping stats individually until you put it all together collectively, and then you go, oh, wow, that's why they're so damn good, yeah.
Which is honestly part of what you say about Purdue, too. I mean, obviously, Smith's assist numbers catch your attention. Overall scoring of Trey Kaufman, Wren catch your attention. But what catches my attention is the way they have just beat up on people. What is it, 20 double-digit wins of the 24 they've had, at this point. I think there was a stat that I heard earlier today. They're just damn good, and that's why tonight's game is so intriguing and so interesting.
All right, so he's Southern Indiana, kind of like you. You understand completely why Trent Sisley gets so little clock with this IU team as a freshman?
No, I do not. And again, I've not been critical of Darren DeVries or not been critical of IU for their season, just because, again, I thought it was, hey, are you going to make the tournament or not? And I think they're going to. They're not locked in, but I think they're pretty close. Anything to me they do in the NCAA tournament is a bonus. But what I'd like to see Sisley play more this year, absolutely, I absolutely would. I would have, John. I would love to have seen that.
I just thought in another game like Sunday, he was not going to be the difference between winning or losing.
Sure.
Thus, why not try something different? And ultimately, he just got mop up, and that was it in Champaign.
The other thing I would say is this: is that perhaps at this level, maybe at other levels of Division I, but I think there things are so transient as well. I'm not so sure that anybody is interested in developing a player anymore, because you can just go flip your roster the next year. And so it's not like I'm not sure any coach is really interested in developing players. It's going to be, hey, are you one of my best 8 or 9 guys right now? And if not, maybe there's a spot for you next year. Maybe not. Maybe you should be playing someplace else. But I kind of think that at the Division I level, and even at all levels of Division I, maybe development has gone out the window.
It's Greg Rakestraw with us. So Butler is in a situation right now. You've lost 6 straight. You just got to find a win here someplace and do all the talking coming up after a season that's absolutely gone haywire for them.
Correct. And the same issue they had last year is the same issue they have this year. And it's just not having a point guard. And again, the injuries have just, ravaged them. Jalen Jackson was never healthy in the first place. Then Xavier Robinson gets hurt. Now the guy you shifted over to the point guard position and Finley Bizjack gets hurt. I mean, they weren't heading in the right direction, period, but they also cannot catch a break. And so you unfortunately get the feeling of them just kind of playing out the string. There are still chances to get wins. The next one against Georgetown obviously is one of those. But there's nothing that's happening right now at Butler that makes you feel good about their chances to get another win at this point.
It's not at all, especially watching that Seton Hall game. And there are just moments in which Butler competes, and then once they fall into that hole, they just cannot dig out of it. They just don't have the talent. They don't have certainly the production to be able to do that right now.
Yeah, right now, again, they're without a point guard. And at any level of the play, let alone one of the best leagues in the country, that is a recipe for disaster. And again, to me, were they overall good enough? Probably not. But we almost, for the last half of the season, to judge on a curve, because it went from, all right, you're bringing a kid that was really good at Purdue-Fort Wayne in Jackson and kind of making him more of a point than a scoring guard, which is what he was at that level at UIC. Great, he gets hurt. All right, now you got to play the freshman. And take some growing pains, again, playing a freshman true point guard, and then he gets hurt. And then you have a guy that's a pretty good shot creator for himself. You slide him over to the point guard role, and then he gets hurt against UConn last week. And so, again, was it great at the start? Maybe not, but injuries have played such a factor that it's almost made the conversation moot at this point.
Greg, who's going to be the hottest coach at the end of this year, Travis Steele or Josh Schertz?
I think it's pick your poison. And I think both those guys, obviously, Travis has had a look at the major college level at Xavier. Maybe that means that Josh might be the hotter prospect because you just don't know. But I would expect both guys might get pay increases to be someplace else next season.
I know when I was off last Wednesday, you had Pete Suter on from Carmel, who's a member of that Miami of Ohio unbeaten team right here. I always love watching kids around here that get that opportunity and maybe are a little bit out of our focus and what they can grow into and build. And in Oxford, Ohio, that's been very impressive.
Well, obviously, I've known Pete dating back to his freshman year of high school because I called so many of his games, playing at Carmel in high school. And all the traits he had playing for Ryan Osborne at Carmel, he had at Bellarmine his first 2 years playing for Scott Davenport, the last 2 years playing for Travis Steele at Miami of Ohio. And I'm so happy for that kid. But you've got him, you've got Kirby from Fishers, and literally like the entire staff are all Indiana guys, whether it's Travis, whether it's Ben Botts, whether it's Christian Smith, whether it's John Holmes, whether it's Elijah Pennington. These are all Indiana guys. And, when Miami has been good in the past, they typically have recruited the state of Indiana very well. And here they are again with a couple of key pieces being from the Hoosier State. So happy for them, rooting for them. Unfortunately, we're not going to have that Cinderella underdog story from the state of Indiana this year. So we can all latch on to the Redhawks and hope they're an NCAA tournament team.
All right, in closing here, you come from a little bit of an era, but certainly an area where the older generation of folks would open up a window and put a freshly baked pie in there to cool down, right? So the window was open with that freshly baked pie. That is a bit of a comparison I'm making to the window being open for the franchise tagging of players throughout the NFL as of today. Colts thoughts in that capacity quickly, Greg?
Well, you've got 2 weeks, and I think Alec Pierce is the most likely to be franchise tagged because I think what you would pay him in a franchise tag scenario isn't that far off from what you would like to get done with him from a long-term deal standpoint. So you don't have to do it today, but my guess would be is they'll get to the end of this 2-week window, put a franchise tag on Alec Pierce with the idea of kind of like Michael Pittman a couple of years back. You're negotiating a long-term deal the entire time. I think that's who and where it gets used.
All right, outside of the Mendoza rules here, who most interests you out of the other 8 IU players involved in the combine that's upcoming here?
To me, it's the receivers.
Yeah.
And obviously Omar Cooper we're kind of biased to being a local guy. If you've got 9 guys in the combine, in theory, you've got at least 9 guys going to be drafted. I think there might be more than that. But I would think that Cooper and Surratt. Now, again, speed-wise, you worry about Surratt. But size-wise, strength-wise, be able to have tough catches. He was obviously money at IU. That translates to the National Football League. But probably just because, again, of the local tie-in, Omar Cooper is the guy that I have my eyes most on.
Thanks for hanging in for me last Wednesday. I appreciate that.
So, I was enjoying watching all of the different thrift store buys you were looking at while you were away.
I went to the Bloomington Antique Mall and then took G Love's Longhorn Steakhouse. So
nice.
We went to Longhorn Steakhouse with her. But, yeah, the Bloomington Antique Mall's got some pretty sweet gear all the way around. Sports gear, pop culture stuff, a lot of old school stuff. It's pretty cool.
And yet another chapter of John and I grew up way too much the same.
Yes.
Mom requested lunch at Texas Roadhouse on Friday. So that's where the rake straws dined a couple of days after you.
There you go. And then I got to hear like a week about how great that salad was that she got at Longhorn. But it's all good, man.
She's happy. That's the most important part about it.
100% accurate, Greg Rakestraw, the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Thank you, brother.
See you, bud.
Greg Rakestraw with us right there. Podcast 1075thefan.com. Tom Crean later on this week. That is prior to IU Purdue Part 2 at Mackey. I know Evan Sherrill's in studio. Cluster Truck. Deanhart, top of the hour. Is that true? Tom Deanhart, West Lafayette. We're going to get a Michigan Purdue update from Tommy D. Evan's going to join us on the other side. Your calls and a lot more. You guys want me to veer away from the hemorrhoidal discussion I was having. I don't think I will. I think I'll hang right here with it. That's my decision. Actually, that and the whole NBA tank and this, yeah. I'm going to go all in on that again because that makes me feel a hell of a lot better. Hopefully it does you too. Don't go anywhere. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Hey, Johnny for QC Kinetics. Have you guys tried it yet? Have you found out whether or not you're good to go with it? I did this like a couple of years ago, and I had chronic knee pain. And you know me and how much I love to hoop. I'm 56 years old. I thought I got to do something about this right now to continue the hoop saga that I'm going through. And I feel great because QC Kinetics helped. I got that consultation, found out that I was good to go with their innovative treatments that use my body's own biologics to get rid of my pain. I called 317-559-PAIN, 317-559-PAIN, as you should right now, and got a hold of QC Kinetics and became pain-free. A wide variety of regenerative therapies, including PRP and stem cell, is what we're talking about here. My knee pain is gone. If you have pain that is keeping you from doing things that you love, find out if you qualify today with my friends from QC Kinetics and get started back on that trail, that path to do what you love to do, because you deserve it. Find out from QC Kinetics today. There are 2 locations in Greenwood and 1 in Carmel. That's 317-559-PAIN. QC Kinetics. Tell them I sent you. 317-559-PAIN today. Hey, Best in Realty, Mark Dito Realty. You guys ready to call on the best? Even if you're not in the process of doing something right now, make sure you keep this number handy, 317-755-4232. I'm going to lead you down the path to the best, and this is it. MarkDietel.com, Mark, DIETEL.com today, because I know you may not be thinking about it right now, but at some point you might. Life circumstances will just take you down that particular path. All right, so whether you're growing the family, you need more space, more property, understand, or if your kids are moving out, going to college, and you were downsized because you're empty nesters, those are completely different reasons, but utilize the absolute best in Mark Dietel and Mark Dietel Realty today. In fact, Mark Dietel is the only real estate expert I trust and recommend with the sale of my home. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Pick your move date. There are no long-term contracts. You can cancel at any time. It's Mark Dietel Realty, 317-755-4232. It's markdietel.com, MarkDietel.com today.
The Ride with JMV.
I don't understand a word you just said.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
James over there. I'm John. Tom Dienhart, top of the hour. We got Michigan Purdue later on tonight. I'm very excited about this. Actually, a good Tuesday night of college basketball. Stretch run of the regular season. We're good to go. Tommy D, top of the hour. Evan Sherrill's in studio. Cluster Truck, clustertruck.com. Big Fan gets you a big-time discount when you order tonight's meal, where you should if you're going to be in watching a lot of hoop tonight. Clustertruck.com. Evan is with us. How you doing, brothers?
I'm doing well. Yeah, you're right. Good night for it.
We were just discussing things that I wouldn't mind doing other than this. Bar owner, I don't know, but antique shop owner, where they rent your, like the Bloomington Antique Mall. I think I could get down with that.
Yeah.
You kind of just sit around and you listen to the radio, and then people come up and they pay, and that's that.
I agree.
But you kind of get to live in the past.
I agree.
I like living in the past. The past was good.
You got a great memory for living in the past.
I got a great memory. And that's what I try to keep this memory strong by continuously living in the past. That's how I justify it.
Steel trap up there, and you know, the omega-3 fatty acids from the salmon and roasted veggies
There's
is great
no
for the
doubt
mental
about
up
that,
there.
buddy. Well, tell me all about it. You got the salmon in there for me again, huh?
Yep.
Did you bring
salmon.
hummus?
I did. Hummus, brought the side of carrots and celery.
I was going to ask you to go double hummus because that is the best hummus I've ever had right there.
Really?
And I feel as if I'm a pretty good judge of hummus by now.
Yeah. Oh,
Me
man.
and the Zohan are like right there in judging hummus. And that is top shelf hummus, brother.
I will pass that on to the chefs. They'll love to hear that. That's awesome. I agree. It is the best hummus I've ever had.
Yes.
It is also the only hummus I've ever had. So not a high bar there, but
No,
it
I
is
know.
great hummus
You're
for
asking
sure.
me, and I know because I'm a habitual carrot dipper in hummus, and that is the best hummus I've had.
Well, I got you. Next time I'll bring double hummus.
Double
then.
hummus
Absolutely.
that bad? Because I'm just like the Zohan did in that film, in Adam Sandler's film. I just put it on everything now.
That's
I
awesome.
just put hummus on everything.
Okay,
but
very
that
nice.
is great hummus. So I've got the salmon per usual. What does James have for this evening?
Something new for James. We're doing our house smoked and fried chicken wings, and he got the Memphis dry rub tonight.
Well,
So,
the Memphis dry rub.
Memphis dry rub wings.
He knows all about dry rubbing.
I knew you were going to say something.
James is like the authority of dry rubbing. Did you know that?
I did not know that, but I hope he gets down with the wings. They're
That's
smoked
great.
in house, fried, so it's good stuff.
So where are your locations? You have one that I can see from like 31 up in Carmel, don't you? Did I see that?
Yeah. So that one is opening actually next week.
Oh,
so,
I'm breaking some news here.
Yeah,
Good for me.
Yeah. So Cluster Truck Carmel, we're having a grand opening for it on Friday of next week. We'll be sending out emails to everybody that's signed up on ownaclustertruck.com/franchisees with some info about that. And hopefully open it up next week. We have a location pretty much catty corner to where we're at right now on St. Clair in Pennsylvania. One in Castleton by the Half Price Books on 82nd, and then one in Broad Ripple on 62nd as well.
I love it. Clustertruck.com. Big fan. Big time discount.
Yep. Clustertruck.com. Use code BIGFAN. Get $5 off your order of $25 or more at any of those locations. And you can pick up. We also offer free delivery on all orders.
All right. I'm going to leave this up to you. I think that James has a new name now. Dry Rub Adams. Dry Rub.
It's
now on,
it's a
is that
good
okay?
nickname. It's a good nickname.
No. And I think maybe a couple of weeks in a row, the Dry Rubs have to be the order for James.
Okay.
Because that's his new name.
Well,
Dry Rub.
See, I like the nickname Eddie White always gave me, which was President Adams or Mr. President, because I guess my name's very presidential.
With all due
sounding.
respect to Eddie White, I think I am much better in this situation than he is. All right. Dry Rub is the nickname. That's your new name. All right.
It's definitely a more unique nickname.
I'm like Belushi in Animal House, where he goes down and names all the Delta Tau Chi initiates, and that's James. He's Dry Rub. Dry Rub from now on.
That's
Your
awesome.
Delta Tau Chi name is Mothballs. But no. All right.
As long as he likes 'em.
Clustertruck.com, right?
Yeah, clustertruck.com or download the app. And yeah, look out for the new Cluster Truck Carmel opening. And
Yes.
you can learn more about it at ownaclustertruck.com/franchisees.
Clustertruck.com. Big fan. Remember to utilize that tonight, and you're going to save money on some great food. Double hummus from
hummus,
me
I
next
got
week,
you.
okay?
Absolutely.
Evan Sherrill's in studio. Thank you, brother.
You're the man. Thank you.
Evan Sherrill's in studio, clustertruck.com, and the promo code Big Fan. Dry Rub's going to bring us back on the other side with Tom Dienhart of Gold and Black Illustrated. Don't go anywhere. Michigan, Purdue conversation. We're talking elite levels coming up next. Hey, John here for LD Smith Plumbing. I got to give a shout out to Mason. Mason came over on Friday. I had some work to be done with the best in plumbing. That's LD Smith Plumbing and Drains. And he was great. Seriously. 317-927-7186. That's a part of Lance's local team. And Mason, if you get Mason, tell Mason he was fantastic. We did some things with the sump pump, and then I had a water pressure issue. And right now, you've got great deals going on at LD Smith Plumbing and Drains. In fact, look in to a new sump pump, or a sump pump, or a new sump pump battery where you can save big time money right now by doing that. Now is the time. We've had that massive melt away, and you got to do something with that because you don't want to have clogged drains. Get that fixed. But a sump pump or a brand new sump pump is of high order. Go to the experts, LD Smith Plumbing and Drains. Ask about Mason. But give a shout out to Lance and the local team at 317-927-7186. Simply put, the best in plumbing online, ldsmithplumbing.com.
The Ride with JMV. 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Oh, crank this up. This is right. Our next guest is a tremendous fan of this group. Led by the legendary Don Dokken, James. This is the band called Dokken. Leave this up for a second. There is a term for a hell of a time called rockin' like Dokken. I mean, you're not rocking like Winger or rocking like Warren or rocking like Poison. You're rocking like Dokken. That, to me, means your band is automatically successful. Crank this part up. Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline from Golden Black Illustrated. I knew this is in his wheelhouse right here because he has rocked like Dokken before in his lifetime. Tom Dienhart joins us now. Where's Dokken on your list of all-timers?
Oh, excellent, man. They're right up there. Probably top 10, John, without a doubt. Top 10, In My Dreams, classic. I was actually just listening to the Breaking the Chains album today. Just a great band, a great guitar player, George Lynch, too. Great guitar player.
Well, I mean, it's like, to me, you put that in the category of, for example, if you get caught speeding and, maybe the guy that pulls you over says, hey, why don't you slow down here, Andretti? You know what I mean? That's kind of the same category of, I feel like I'm rocking like Dokken. That's pretty special.
Like Dokken, that's going to get you at any speeding ticket, John, with the cops. I tell you what, one time about 1984, 85, I matriculated down old I-65 to MSA and saw Dokken and Dio. How about that doubleheader? Dokken and Dio.
Ronnie James.
I was living that day. That was my heyday. That was my apex. That was my zenith.
I'm going to ask you, because we live in the past and we think the past is much better. Is that because it was much better, or because we're just old and curmudgeon-y and we fail to see what is great about today? Because I'm sorry, that past still looks a hell of a lot better than some of the bands we're thinking about today.
You know what? I've given that a lot of thought over the years. You know why the past appeals to us?
Why?
Because it doesn't change. It's a known commodity. The future scares us because we don't know what it has. But the past, it can't change. We know it. We're familiar with it. I think humans tend to always, forget the bad stuff about the past and tend to romanticize the good things. We're all guilty of it, but we especially love our music. Doesn't music get you hear a song and takes you right back to certain moments in your life too? It's great.
I always view the past, too, as having zero responsibility, which was by far, I think for all of us, always the best of times. And we were very innocent and not knowing a lot of the BS stuff that we know today. But I will say this, even in the past, basketball was highly entertaining and very important in our life. And I heard Matt Painter started out the show really looking at this game as a must-win situation in terms of winning the Big Ten. This is a test for Purdue at home against number 1 Michigan. As to what level do you view that tonight in West Lafayette, Tommy D?
Well, it's a massive challenge. It's a massive level. I mean, Matt Painter does not speak hyperbole there, John. Just to prove if Purdue wants any shot of winning the Big Ten, they got to win out, and that starts with tonight, 6:30, Northwestern Avenue, Mackey Arena. Purdue's got to take down the mighty Michigan Wolverines. Not going to be easy. After that, of course, Indiana comes here Friday night. How about that? Then Michigan State next Thursday. Purdue goes on the road for Northwestern Ohio State, and they finish at home against Wisconsin. So it's kind of a doable slate for Purdue to win out. But tonight's going to be tough. Then they have to pray that Michigan somehow loses one more game. Maybe they can get a tie. But, boy, if you guys have seen Michigan play this year, you know what they're all about. I think 10 wins by 30 points or more against some quality teams. And at least one thing Purdue's got going for us tonight is have a home crowd, John. Also, a lot of mojo coming off a couple big wins on the road here, too.
Well, and we're going to see where they are in terms of the reclamation of sorts that they did with this team, whether you're talking about, on the road to Nebraska or, what they did in Iowa City. I was very impressed with late Saturday afternoon, early Sunday or Saturday evening, because they completely dismantled the Hawkeyes in that fashion. So all that's kind of prepares you to see where they are against the nation's number one. And this one-loss Michigan team, they've gone through, a rut or two, but nothing of significance. And we'll see if the Boilermakers can add to that tonight.
Yeah, just the home loss to Wisconsin. Almost got beaten home by Nebraska. Almost got clipped by Penn State. But by and large, they've handled their business in very impressive fashion. You're right. For Purdue, I think the formula is always pretty simple, right? Like most teams, you got to shoot well. That solves a lot of problems. They shot lights out in Iowa City. Shoot well. Cox has found his groove. Braden Smith's got to be Braden Smith, and Fletcher Laura, the ultimate box of chocolates, right? You never kind of know what you're going to get from him, but Purdue's going to win. He's probably going to have a 15-point game. And I tell you what, another big X factor has been the play of Trey Kaufman-Wren. He's sort of been up and down this year, but he's really dialed in of late. Just a real beast on the boards, and Purdue's going to be battling a very big Michigan team, and he's going to have to be at his best, just like Oscar Clough tonight.
Yeah, it seems like that Clough, to me, it has been all about being the best on the glass. I don't know, was that him drawing that conclusion, or did the coaching staff help him out with that particular conclusion? Because it seems like he's been more focused on that than anything else recently.
Yeah, I think that's been the key, that they need him on the glass. Be a garbage man. Get those offensive rebounds to put backs. He's been so key, that the game in Nebraska especially. What Lawyer fed him in the past, and he scored what proved to be the winning points as well. So everybody has to know their role, and he's sort of been a little up and down this year. But that Clough TKR big man combo, again, I mentioned the size of Michigan, John. It's a big team. It's a physical team. You want to be a little methodical and kind of like Purdue plays. So Purdue's going to be kind of looking at itself in some ways, and those two big guys are going to have to be horses on the boards.
It's Tom Dienhart of Golden Black Illustrated. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Dusty May's a longtime friend of mine, same high school, and we've been friends, played hoops together, played for a long time now, so I know him really well. And I also I like Matt a great deal. I have Matt on the show all the time, which kind of leads to Purdue fans always asking me, do I know or am I privy to how much these two programs or two coaches may not like one another? I am not. Now, I will view this in the fashion of just what this landscape has created, a free-for-all of sorts where you're going to try to do what's best for where you are at that moment. But is there no love lost between the two programs and the two head coaches, as a lot of Boilermaker fans would tell me there's not?
I don't know if there's that much. I mean, the people up here don't like Michigan, but I guess I look at Michigan State. I think fans have a little bit more venom for Izzo and Michigan State, and obviously Indiana too, and Illinois. I kind of look at maybe those schools. The Boilermaker Nation have a little bit more vitriol than Michigan. Michigan's been awfully good over the years, but I don't know if the rivalry has been quite as intense. But no doubt this year, they're in the crosshairs for Purdue and for everybody else. Now, John, before I go, you got to give me one good Dusty May high school story.
Well, I can tell you this: we played every morning. Mark Barnheiser is the head coach at Lafayette Jeff, very successful, and I think one of the best coaches I've ever been around. And he was the coach at Eastern Green when Dusty was his point guard at Eastern Green. And we would have morning basketball, which we still do to this day, but would have morning basketball every morning at Eastern Green. And you remember that picture, that video of Dusty? He was sitting on the sideline at the Breslin Center, and the Michigan State fans were like screaming at him to the back of his head, that meme or whatever. I had sent out on X, because Dusty had been through all these morning basketball sessions. This is not going to bother him one bit. Not one bit. And you could tell by the Big Ten did that whole biography on Dusty May, and Mark was in a lot of it because Mark was so big in, I think, pushing Dusty to get to where he is, giving him that drive. Like him or loathe him in some moments. There was a reason as to why, Dusty has a little bit of fire in him. And those morning basketball sessions, Dusty would know where all the quote-unquote bodies are buried with all of us in those in the 1990s in those morning basketball sessions. He would know. And thus, he was pretty clean. He was pretty clean back then. He was pretty straight edge and clean, but he would know with all of us, where everything had gone haywire. But he is a good dude. There's no doubt. I don't know. I hear all the time, for example, and you probably saw this on Gold and Black Illustrated, a lot of people talking about how he may or may not have gone really hard at Braden Smith in the offseason, and people in Purdue that are Purdue fans believe that to be true. Do you?
I mean, so what? Right.
I said, I think you're going to do what's best for where you are regardless. Yeah. But I think, Tommy, what people are suggesting is there may be some, they're drawing the line of the sand if you're coaches in what you do. I just don't happen to think that there is at this point.
No, I think you don't want to do anything nefarious or underhanded, but you just compete and try and get the best players you can for your team, right? And I'm sure if that was the case, many schools probably reached out to Braden Smith, honestly, right? There was talk about Kansas, I think, as well, and Kentucky making ridiculous offers. You never know what's believable out there. But yeah, I guess that adds a little bit of fuel to the fire tonight then, doesn't it? And I'm surprised. Why aren't you going to be sitting behind the Michigan bench tonight? That's what I want to know.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to do that. What's funny is I like having him on. I talked to him, but I hate the state of Michigan with a passion. So that's kind of an interesting dynamic we have going on. I don't know. I'm just never been a big fan of the state of Michigan, but I love, and I knew that he was going to be, ultimately when he had a chance, be a good coach. But doubling back to, this era, this landscape of college basketball, I remember him telling me when FAU, they were in the regionals and they were in New York playing in Madison Square Garden. And I think it was either Kansas State or Tennessee, maybe I have that backwards, that they beat in the regional semifinal. And the night after that, all of his kids were getting calls from all the power conference schools about peeling off and coming there. To me, I've tried to answer folks out there when they ask me, about him going after players and other coaches getting mad about it. I just think now everybody is going to be doing that. And if you don't like it and you don't do it, you may end up being left behind until further notice in the protocol of how you go about building your team now.
Yeah, it's funny that you're kind of bringing me back. We talked, and I'm not going to go on a tangent, but Barry Orman spoke to us a couple of weeks ago, and he mentioned that in November, John, they start getting messages and lists from agents of players from different schools that will be in the portal. This is in November during the season. And some agent accidentally sent him a list of Purdue players who are going to be in the portal before the season even ended. So what's tampering, what's not tampering, I don't know. But again, it's just another log to throw on the fire of a college athletics landscape that continues to sort of burn out of control. It's just lawless out there. So if you're going to hate Dusty May, you're going to hate Dusty May. But everybody's just looking, the edge and try to get that one more win and try to win a championship.
Yeah, and the IU people are kind of get upset at times because they all think that he should be there, but the timing just was not going to be right for him to be there.
Isn't that crazy what life's all about timing, isn't it? And, yeah, boy, what a sweet hire that would have been for IU. I was kind of wondering as we're talking too, John, where do you think Dusty lands? Is Dusty an NBA guy? How much longer will he be in Ann Arbor?
I think he has the resources, and again, we're constantly talking about how the environment and the landscape is of college athletics and college basketball right now. When you look at Michigan with all their resources and with the success he's had in the first 2 years, I don't know why you'd want to jack around with anything else right now. I mean, maybe he would. I don't. Maybe he would, but I don't know why you would really want to right now.
Football, it's a football school. I can't imagine. They want to win at Michigan. Michigan basketball is not a super high pressure job like Duke or Kentucky or Kansas or Indiana, but you have the resources to win. You can win. History's shown us that you can win. Who was the other former Indiana manager who coached in the NBA? Was it Lawrence Frank?
Yeah, Lawrence Frank that went to the NBA. Listen, I don't know if he would want to, if he ever got the offer. I mean, it appears that he can deal with high-level players, but I've always felt that he likes that level and he wants to win at the highest of that level, and he hasn't done that yet. And he's always somebody that tries to, I think, take it to the limit and to reach a goal. So it would surprise me, but then again, I never say never in what we do, because normally when you say never, you end up being wrong about that because things can drastically change.
What are you, 40 years old, 45 years old? Ain't that old?
Yeah, he is. What is he? I'm 56, so he is probably, he might be 47, 48 maybe? Somewhere in that neighborhood. He may be 8 years younger than me, maybe.
If he gets a national title or a couple Final Fours, we've seen so many college guys make that NBA jump. And I think Lon Kruger, Calipari did it. A lot of guys with Patino did it. And they always bounce back. But, boy, the opportunity, the money to scratch that itch, you can always come back to college if you're a failed NBA coach. I'm not trying to rush him off from the NBA, but he's still young enough. And if he wins big enough at Michigan, maybe you want to stretch himself and see how far he can take this thing.
How quickly do you tire of all this? Too, even with success, because we have seen Tommy D's successful coaches tire of it and just simply put, they're fine financially forever. Just move on.
I think the move is what Brad Stevens did, right? He got out from behind the bench and got in the front office of the Celtics.
One thinking more like Jay Wright wins multiple national titles and says, I don't really want to jack with this environment anymore. And, he's just one of the greater examples of a number of coaches that you reach your goal and you say, I don't really want to mess with this any longer. I don't feel like messing with this any longer. I guess it depends upon how you deal with, again, this landscape of college athletics. If you're cool with it, then you're cool with it and you're going to move forward. If you're not, maybe you just want to reach your goals and then feel like you're financially and at least with what you have done career-wise successful, and it's time to move on. I don't know if we know anybody's timetable for that matter.
No, but I'll tell you what, I think one way to be, quote, cool with it is if you're in this position like Dusty May is. You're at a school, like you mentioned, John, at Michigan, which has the resources, has the access being in the Big Ten. That makes that job very appealing and then easier to navigate that crazy college basketball landscape when you have an institution with those resources to build a roster, to win a championship. It's easier, again, to tolerate all that nonsense when you're at a place like that.
So Tom Dienhart of Golden Black Illustrated is on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I'm going to ask you a similar question as you asked me about Dusty, about Matt. What do you think? What do you think, Matt? Is Matt going to go until he gets back to a national championship game, or does Matt tire of what he has to deal with on a year-in, year-out basis? Because we know this to be true. I mean, he's an old-school guy that likes to recruit and grow and develop players, and it's far from that dynamic for most of college athletics anymore.
But it's weird how he's built this program, John, and been able to keep building it like he does. Only one or two portal guys at the most every year. He still gets guys in here from high school. And the guy's redshirt. Guys are still redshirt here, if you can believe that. They buy into this whole culture that he's developed. So he's got a good thing going here. He's about your age, right? 56 years old. And he's got
somewhere close to there.
89.
He looks a lot older, though. We would have to say that, right?
Yeah, he's got tread on his tire. He's got his 250th Big Ten win, right? 21st year in West Lafayette. I can't see him coaching anywhere else. I mean, he's the most powerful man in West Lafayette. I think he knows it. He's earned that. He's earned that right. Again, I can see him coach for another 10 years. I'm not sure even if somebody won a national title, I can't see him walking away instantly. But who knows? Maybe if that does happen, he just steps away. But that'd be a big void. Of course, everybody, John, looks at P.J. Thompson, sort of his right-hand man here, as maybe being a successor. So, again, I don't think Matt coaches anywhere else. And again, he could coach for another 10 or 15 years up here, and this through cement a legacy that's already very impressive.
Well, I do think this is just my theory and nothing he's ever said. My theory is he would like to be somebody that helps cobble together and makes decisions at the basketball level. You know what I mean? At basketball levels. That makes sense to you? I mean, I do think he enjoys the leadership possibilities that he has with how long he's been and the success he's had.
Yeah, he's involved with some of those international basketball things, even domestically, obviously. So, and you know what? If you could just get away from the recruiting stuff, right? That's the grind, and just be an X's and O's basketball guy. And somehow you can still be involved at a high level and not have to recruit and go out, hit the road and travel and you know, beg and cajole these portal kids, these high school kids. That would be the ideal, I think, right?
These next three games are going to tell the tale of the tape this regular season, are they not, for Purdue?
Oh yeah, like I said, it's this is it. You know, it's unfortunate they have the 3 losses. It's too bad they only have the 2. Then tonight they can at least forge a tie with a win. Obviously they can't. A win was still trailing by 1 game. But yeah, like I said from the jump here when I got on with you, wiggle room is 0. You got to win out. And I went through the schedule: 4 games at home, 2 on the road. Yeah. Yes, there's some challenging games. The challenging ones are in Mackey, and we all know Purdue has a good shot there. Michigan, IU, Michigan State, Wisconsin. Come here. You go to Northwestern. You go to Ohio State. I mean, look at it. You could run the table. And I think, John, Michigan finishes at Illinois for their last game of the year. So who knows? Maybe Purdue wins out, and they pray and somehow Michigan loses in Champaign. Maybe they get a tie.
Hey, we kind of, in closing, wondered about the attitude at a couple of different junctures in the season of Kaufman-Wren. He seems much better here recently. Is that because of the team success?
Yeah, I think so. That's just life, isn't it? I mean, when you win, everything's better. He's a little bit more dialed in, I think, and you're right. I think the success has certainly helped his attitude. And like I said, too, he's got to keep playing like he really has the last couple of days, I should say, in Lincoln and Iowa City, because they need him dialed in, being physical on the boards, getting those putback baskets, and hitting his free throws late in the game when he gets fouled.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Tom Dienhart of Gold and Black Illustrated, they're going to have you covered on a variety of things during and then certainly after this game. Coming up later on tonight, 6:30. It is an early start, and besides our good friend Rob Blackman and Buckets on the radio network, you're going to be locked in. You're getting peacocked later on tonight, right? Everybody's getting peacocked.
Peacock. People got to figure it out.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But hey, it's always a pleasure, Tommy D. I appreciate you.
I love you, John. Be good, buddy. Thank you very much, man.
Tom Dienhart at Gold and Black Illustrated. Really good conversation there regarding Purdue basketball in general. And I thought I'd bring up what a lot of you have brought up to me regarding the reason why you don't like Dusty and Michigan and, the recruiting of players that aren't in the transfer portal, all that. Podcast, if you missed any of it, 1075thefan.com. I wanted to mention this, and I know that they're rightly so talking about this down the hall on 93 WIBC, but the death of Brian Elliott last night, the Beech Grove police officer who was shot in the line of duty responding to a call in Beech Grove. Brian was 33 years of age, and we wanted to send out our thoughts to all those in Beech Grove, certainly the family members of Officer Elliott, and just know those that knew him and those certainly that have been affected by that. That was just the worst news, the last thing you want to hear. And that took place yesterday evening in Beech Grove. So our thoughts going out to that community and the friends and the family and the colleagues of Officer Elliott. Quick break. We'll come back. I think it's you and I rest of the way at 239-1070. If you so desire, we'll talk about whatever you want to hit, and I'll revisit some of the other things that we started at the beginning of the show. This is 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Hey, John here for Andy Moore, Buick GMC 131st, State Road 37. That is in Fishers. He's my friend Eric Wilson. Eric Wilson is going to get you in a new ride, and you're going to be able to talk with him, meet with him, and get involved at a great time because they have the inventory. They have incentives to buy, which gives you savings on the vehicle of your choice. Plus, as always, it is now ultra important, the service after the sale. That makes sure that it maintains and raises the bar on the life expectancy of that vehicle of your choice. That is the service after the sale. And, I maintain this. I've got a truck that's got 50, or if I should say 500,000 miles on it because I've tried to maintain it. And I now think more people than we have known in the past are doing just that. It's easy to do with Indiana's best. That's Andy Moore, Buick GMC. Tell Eric Wilson that I sent you. Do that today, 131st, State Road 37 in Fishers. Hey, John here for, you got that right, the Low T Center. Low T Center. Give them a call today. If you're looking for, I should say, a great deal on TRT, don't pay hundreds of dollars out of pocket for a franchise or settle for a one-size-fits-all dose from your doctor just because they take your insurance. At Synergenics and Low T Center, you can get powerful TRT dosed for your body and get it covered by insurance. Synergenics and Low T Center work with most insurance plans to customize each dose of TRT for maximum effectiveness and safety. It's TRT that actually works with your body. In February, the offer is free testosterone test and discounted peptides and GLP-1s to make getting your life back as easy as possible. Synergenics and lowtcenter.com to book online today. Again, that's easy. Synergenics and Low T Center to book online today.
The Ride with JMV.
Sis boom ba. Sis boom ba. Describe the sound made when a sheep explodes.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Tom Dienard, Golden Black Illustrated. Busy week, including Tom Crean later on. And Michigan, Purdue coming up later on tonight. ESPN claims best fits for the top 50 NFL free agents. There's a full list. Trey Hendrickson, the Bengals defensive lineman, best fit the Colts. He'd fit right in because I don't think the dude ever plays, does he? How many games has he missed recently? Does he fit because he's injured all the time? Because that's the way that it seems. 31 years of age. I know most, and maybe a change of scenery would do everybody good. Best team fit, and let's face it, the reason why it's the best team fit is because his former defensive coordinator is going to go into year number 2 as the Colts defensive coordinator. But at 31, how many games did he miss a year ago? Like all of them?
He played in 7 games
7
last year.
games. Well, that would fit. Hell yeah, he's the best fit here then. Go get him. By far the best fit here. Yeah, we are on the verge with the window being open for the franchise tagging that is going on right now, and the expectation is Alec Pierce is going to get that. We are not too far away from NFL free agency. ESPN says Trey Hendrickson is indeed that particular target. JMV, I love it when you have Tommy D on the show. He's just a dandy guest. I would agree with Tommy D. He's a great dude, man. There is no doubt about that. You also have my permission to bring back the JMV Health Watch. I was kind of bummed you didn't ask Tom about hemorrhoids. No, I've asked people around here, how many people, I just haven't heard, like there being a lot of, what should I say, hemorrhoidal flare-ups in a lot of people recently. We used to hear that all the time. There was Preparation H commercials everywhere. You just don't see that much anymore.
Were people
Although
always...
maybe we stamped out for good hemorrhoids.
Were people really that open about if they had a hemorrhoid or not back in the day?
Well, they had a term, the hemorrhoidal flare-up. is what it was called. It was a term, so I'm assuming yes. And I mentioned that was going back to the 1980 season with George Brett when he had hemorrhoids during the season. I think he had to sit out a game because he had hemorrhoids. That was the season he had 390 and the Royals lost the World Series too, because we're giving away Tim McGraw tickets to the late father of Tim McGraw, Tug McGraw, closed out the game for the Phillies back in 1980. All right, 239-1070. Trey Hendrickson, 7-game participant a year ago to hemorrhoids. Seemed like an incredible crossover of sorts right there for us. 6:30 is that tip time. Mackey Arena, West Lafayette, Michigan, and Dusty May, Matt Painter, and Purdue. You're getting peacocked later on tonight. Hey, give me Buckets or Blackman tomorrow, too, by the way. Would you please? Buckets or Blackman on the show tomorrow? Because I knew that they were going to be tight and probably couldn't do it today, and I think the other two shows had either one or both of them on. I need to do Kramer again here soon. 239-1070. Reggie is up first on this here show today. Reggie, thank you for the call.
What's up, John, man? I want to thank you for retweeting that Pacers little season ticket holder clip out, man. I really appreciate it, man. I really enjoy the Pacers, man, and I really appreciate you retweeting that out.
You got it, pal.
And, Pacers going to get, one of the top 4 picks, man. The NBA just threw us in there for GP. I'm really scared of the guy out of Kansas with his injuries and not playing. I don't know if the coach is sitting him out or he's sitting out.
No, he's sitting his own ass out. Or those people around him are sitting him out because my man doesn't play if he sneezes too much.
I'm worried about him, so that has me leaning towards AJ now. But these people don't realize in Indy how good of a player Aaron Nesmith is. They're talking about a rookie's going to come in and start. Unless you Michael Jordan or James, you're not going to come in and start. Aaron has earned that spot right now. I don't think it should just be given away to anybody,
I think the safest, or let me better yet here, Reggie. I think the player that is supposedly in the top 4 that would be the safest, that would be able to give you something that you could count on right away with this Pacer group would be Boozer. But I think the upside of at least 2 of the other 3 would be deemed as higher. That's how I view it right now.
Me and you were usually on the same page. I supported you and Miles for all these years. But this year, I may have to disagree with you.
That's okay.
I like AJ, but I'll take either of them. Let's just put it like that.
Well, and listen, they're probably going to end up being better players. I'm just saying who could help you, because if let's just say, for example, they end up getting 1 through 4 and they get one of those top picks. I think he's the guy that would be able to help quicker than anybody else. Just maybe not have the top side as maybe 2 of the other 4 might. That makes sense.
Another point I would like to make is I like Quincy Jackson, man. I've always liked him. I think he's developed into a great role player. I like the T.J. McConnell effect. I think he's had an effect on Thompson, Shepard, and Jackson by the way he plays defense. Those 4 guys, they really hustle. I think they're going to be big for us in role players. If the Pacers are going to play Pacer basketball, you're going to need good people on the bench to come in and give you 5 to 8 minutes a game. Hey, you tired? Come on out and come back in. I do think that the Pacers are going to be back next year. And I think Jackson deserves not a 2-way contract. I think he should be. You got empty roster spots. I think he should be on the roster.
No, I think he has proven himself. I don't know what the roster is going to break down. And thank you, Reggie, for the call, man. You call anytime. I do think that he has proven that he is an NBA player. And I'm assuming would be worthy of being a part of this roster. I just don't know how this roster is going to break down when everybody is healthy, and then you're able to bring in some bodies next year too. Thank you, Reggie, for that. JMV, say it louder. NBA, you run your business and let the Pacers run their office. NBA, I got news for you. You guys set up this. If it's a calamity, it's your ass's fault. And I'm not worried about, and I'm going to yell about it, I'm not worried about in terms of what the talking heads nationally or what Adam Silver and his office care about how the Pacers go about their business. Here's what I know. I know that no team in the NBA this season has been more compromised due to significant injuries. And I know that they have an NBA All-Star in Pascal Siakam that has logged as many minutes at the age of, 31, as anybody else has. And I also know this. I know that because of injuries and because of what they've had to deal with, they're deserving of a top selection. And not because they're bagging the season on how they're utilizing their players. So I got news for you. NBA, either come up with a better process, etch that in stone, and put it to use, or shut up. And I want the Pacers to continue to run their business to what best suits the Pacers. Thus, to what best suits the Pacers fans. And to hell with everybody else. Seriously. You think anybody cared outside of Pacer fans when Halliburton went down to the second quarter of Game 7 of the NBA Finals? Anybody care? No. They're deserving of the top 4. Now, they've jeopardized that top 4 with his deal. Make no mistake about it. But they are deserving of a first-round pick if they're able to get through 1 and 4, regardless of taking the criticism of how they're utilizing this season. Guys played hurt. Guys played injured. Guys went the distance. They're playing by the NBA rules of protocol right now. So to hell with what Kendrick Perkins or to what ESPN or to what Adam Silver has to say about it. If you don't like the way that the Pacers are doing things, then come up with a way and let them follow by those rules. But right now, they're doing what's best for them, just like individually, the players do what's best for them. They're doing what's best for them. Load management, what's best for the players, what's best for the team. We've heard that for years. Now, all of a sudden, they're the Pacers being highly criticized because they have the opportunity and because they're doing what's best for their organization, for their team, their fan base. That's what matters to me. That's really, to me, what should matter to you as well. Quick break. We'll come back. If you're on hold, I'll get to you. If not, remember, we have to bail at about 5:40 today, right? We got Beyond the Horizon and then Trackside. Yeah, I saw the rundown of IndyCar this year. I don't know about anybody else because you know me, normally I root for Ed Carpenter because I like Ed Carpenter a great deal. But I'm kind of torn now between Ed Carpenter, because he's a friend of the show, having purchased shirts of Pato Awards from Goodwill on the north side, and because I want to see, I want to see Will Power stick it to Team Penske like nobody's business this year. I cannot be the only one that wants to see this. And I think this is the drama in IndyCar that I think a lot of people have been waiting for, that goes beyond the expertise and precision of driving. Being able to stick it to somebody. I want to see Will Power stick it to him. Very excited. Trackside's coming at you later on tonight. Quick break. We'll come back. 239-1070 or 317-239-1070. Text line is wide open on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Hey, that's a great idea, by the way. Shout out to Matt Goins and AAA for that and the AAA membership lounge we have on YouTube Live. This is also a great idea. I want to, as you all know, prolong activity. As we get older, we end up with some situations where all of a sudden we are compromised because of injuries, or for me, it was chronic knee pain. That's why I went to QC Kinetics. I went to QC Kinetics. I qualified for the treatment and then found out what QC Kinetics can do for me. And with their innovative treatments, got me back on track. Got me back on the court, and I'm playing every day and feeling great. No knee pain because I called 317-559-PAIN. Got that no obligation consultation at QC Kinetics, and then found out what they can do for me. You should do that as well. We're talking QC Kinetics, a wide variety of regenerative therapies that include PRP and stem cells. My knee pain is gone. If you have chronic pain of some sort, and you want to get back on track with what you enjoy doing, call QC Kinetics and make that appointment. Do that right now. 2 locations in Greenwood, 1 in Carmel, 317-559-PAIN. Write this down, QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. Tell them JMV sent you. Hey, get that real growing hair back again. Darren Andrews is waiting for that call. 317-522-2995. Have you called yet? Have you noticed the loss of hair? Do you want to do something about it? I'm going to give you options here. One option is if you want to be bald, that's great. If you want your real growing hair back again, this is your play. This is your option. 317-522-2995. The innovations continue to get better year after year with We Grow Hair Indy. Take advantage of that and call Darren Andrews right now. 317-522-2995. Your real growing hair back today at WeGrowHairIndy.com.
The Ride with JMV.
But I'm a genetic freak, and I'm not normal.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
James, tell me when this show is going to be. Tim McGraw. Big-time country music show right here.
It'll be September 18th at Ruoff.
Oh, that's going to be great. September 18th, Ruoff Music Center. Tim McGraw. If you were going to go see one country music artist, Tim McGraw, would that be it?
Probably
maybe.
not.
Tim McGraw. Hey, text line, number 30.
Let's do it that way.
317-239-1070. Text line for Tim McGraw. You guys go to work on that bad boy right now. Number 30 is going to get in. September country show, Tim McGraw. Text line number 30, 317-239-1070. And as I like to say, you can thank us later for that. Always trying to give you the absolute most in enjoyment out there. Most in opportunities. Hey, James.
Oh, my.
That's nice. Real nice. Number 30. Go at it right. I tell you one thing, and Mike Wells reached out to me today, and I can't be disappointing, folks. I've got to come up with, I do not have tickets right now for a new edition, Tony Braxton and Boys to Men on Thursday. And I'm supposed to be taking Mike Wells, and then can you imagine? Manny is going to beat the crap out of me somewhere. Manny's out there. Manny's been waiting the entire damn year for this. I think Derek White wants to go too.
So you got yourself a whole crew that needs tickets.
I'm letting everybody's ass down right here. That's coming up on Thursday. New edition. I was trying to think. Somebody asked me the other day how many of New Edition's been on the show before. Well, obviously all of Belle Biv DeVoe, Michael Bivens, Ron DeVoe, Ricky Bell. I think everybody has been on but Bobby Brown. Johnny Gill's been on. Ralph Tresvant's been on. Everybody but Bobby Brown. Tony Braxton has never been on. Smoke. And from Boys to Men, I think Sean Stockman has been on before. No Bobby Brown ever. I'm not surprised by there never being a Bobby Brown appearance on this show. But as of right now, Mike, Derek, Manny, I'm still working on that for Thursday. I got to get down there with all my friends. I've been touting this thing forever. Also, I got sent this before the break. A shout out to SPT, Sean Patrick Turley. This comes from the number one respectable national title confetti winner. I have no idea what this is. But somebody had sent out, if you're a Cheers fan, James, have you ever watched the show Cheers?
I have not.
If you're a fan of the 80s, early 90s sitcom Cheers, Ted Danson, Shelley Long, and then Kirstie Alley, Kelsey Grammer, George Wendt. If you've ever been a fan of Cheers, and I never knew this, and this started back in 1982, and this is a fun fact. The opening image that is supposed to be, we all think it's inside the bar of Cheers, which is in Boston, Massachusetts, actually is a real photo inside the Irish Lion in Bloomington. Now, the former Irish Lion, because in 2024, for whatever reason, it went out of business and nobody ever opened it back up again. And I think it's now some kind of candle company or something. I am one of the biggest fans of the Irish Lion in Bloomington of all time. And unfortunately, it's gone by the wayside, much like McCree's Deli. I was another big fan of McCree's Deli back in the day. And they tried to put that back together, and it didn't work. But the Irish Lion went out of business, I want to say, in 2024. I never knew that the opening photos of the intro to Cheers was actually pictures, real photos inside the Irish Lion in Bloomington going way back. Thank you for that nugget of information from SPT, one of these smiley bros yesterday sent to me. That was really cool. I never knew. Something I did not know. Quick break. We'll come back. I got your calls. Adam, Jerry, and more can lead in the 5 o'clock hour. Yeah, not too far away. We've got the Boilermakers hosting Michigan, number one Michigan and Mackey. 6:30 is that tip time. More conversation on that and then some after 5 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Hi there. I'm John. For the District Tap, you got 2 locations, Northside, Clearwater Crossing, downtown Indy. For any event inside the field house, you're a block away. You can post up there for a pregame, jump in there, post-game, have a great time. TVs everywhere. Happy hour specials are incredible and damn good food. You have that. You have live music, too, and you also have that on the north side, Clearwater Crossing. What a great destination location for you and friends, you and the family, you and the significant other. Happy hour specials, damn good food, event space, live music, private rooms, and more you are going to find. And a shout out to our good friend Michael and the District Tap. The 2 locations, Clearwater Crossing on the north side, downtown Indy. That is, again, destination locations, Indy, for you, and just one hell of a fun time. To find out more, thedistricttap.com.
The Ride with JMV.
Bill, I just have one question for you. What color is an orange? Ted, you bonehead. Its color is the same as its name, just like a lemon.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
So 71 tomorrow, is that true for the predicted afternoon high around here? Where's Lindsay Monroe? Is she in bed? Asleep already? I think it says right now, 71 and partly sunny tomorrow. 64 Thursday, with a chance of storms. I know further south, the storms are supposed to be predicted to be severe. Friday, 42, Saturday, 39. So now the roller coaster officially begins, but 71 is what it says in front of me coming up tomorrow. Is this true?
I've got 68, but still, that's pretty dang warm.
I'll be shirtless Wednesday for the host of this show tomorrow if we're not careful. I did want to recognize this before we get to your calls, and again, more college basketball conversation. Early Peacock action for you tonight between Michigan and Purdue. That tip is at 6:30. Massive game at Mackey Arena in West Lafayette. Back-to-back-to-back games for Purdue at home that hold a high level of significance. You have Michigan, number 1 ranked Michigan and Dusty May tonight. You have IU on Friday, which is just weird-ass beyond belief. And then they close out 3 straight at home against Michigan State. So there is a lot riding on this 3-game stretch, certainly for the Boilermakers. And in fact, when you look at their final 4 home games, you add in the final game of the regular season against Wisconsin, that is some high-level stuff. Before I get back to your Colts, again, Colts and the NFL, your franchise tag window is open. The weekend that was the NBA All-Star, I did want to give a tip of the cap to Pascal Siakam for the participation. But a lot was going on with tanking and all that crap. And I think by now you know how I feel about that. I did want to add this, being a big-time basketball fan and certainly an old-school basketball fan too, I wanted to recognize the passing of Nuggets coaching legend Doug Moe. Doug Moe passed away at the age of 87. Doug Moe, and it's not like that they had a great deal of high-level success, because when he was the head coach of the Nuggets, it was really tough to get around the Lakers. And if it wasn't the Lakers back then, you had to navigate for a couple of years the Rockets, and that was difficult. And certainly the Lakers were the biggest of the Western Conference roadblocks then. But I so thoroughly enjoyed watching his teams play basketball, especially offensively. And that harkens the memories of Alex English. You remember those teams of Doug Moe back then. You had Lafayette Lever, Alex English. This is off the top of my head. Hopefully I'm right on this. Bill Hanslick, who played collegiately in Notre Dame. T.R. Dunn, who I believe was a teammate at Alabama of former IU coach Mike Davis. And the son of Dolph Shays, Danny Shays, was playing the center position. Plus, most noted, some of the greatest uniforms of all time during that Nuggets era. But they were fun as hell to watch, and most noted because you had a backcourt with a triple-double threat and Fat Lever. And Alex English, you knew this. Alex English was here at the beginning and then got traded and was just a phenomenal offensive player. Doug Moe, former NBA coach, again, most noted head coach of the Denver Nuggets, passed away at the age of 87. And those Nuggets teams were just, for me, fantastic to watch. Yeah, no doubt. Doug Moe's team always scored a blank load of points. They did. They rarely guarded anybody. But again, that was an era in which, if you watched, it always seemed like this. Whether we're talking about, Doug Moe and the Nuggets, or one of my other favorite players back then was Walter Davis and the Phoenix Suns, it always seemed like that you would spend 3 quarters playing the Lakers, and then you would hang in, and then the Lakers would take that extra step in the fourth. You would always be close, but you never would cash it in. Doug Moe has passed away at the age of 87. Those were, plus I think a lot of people made fun of the way that he dressed. But those Nuggets teams were fun as hell to watch. And no doubt. I saw this from Cidery before I get to your calls here. The Clippers currently own, are you guys ready for this? 52% chance of obtaining a lottery selection via the Pacers. for Zubats. 52% as it stands right now. So if the pick conveys in the favor of the Clips, their total haul from the Pacers would be a 2026 first, a 2029 unprotected first, 2028 second via the Mavericks, and Matherin and Isaiah Jackson, which looks stratospherically different in the favor of the Clippers. That's why that cannot happen. I can't imagine how good Zubats would have to be and how that would have to translate into wins for us ever going, oh, yeah, that's great. No, that is not going to work. That's why it cannot work. That's why if you're the Pacers, you have to go about your business as to what best benefits your good fortune coming up on Mother's Day and the lottery. Know this to be true. They're probably going to try to screw you as best they can anyway. So if you want to put the screws to them right back, then so be it, especially if you don't mind paying a fine. I don't mind paying a fine. No, it's not my money. 52% chance for the Clippers to get that haul, which, again, makes that trade look a hell of a lot different. All right, with that in mind, 239-1070 is the number. Jerry is up next today. Jerry, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, John. I wanted to weigh in on Tankgate. I've been back watching basketball since about.
I'm sorry. What, weigh in on tanking? Is that what you said? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
Been watching basketball since about 1972. I don't remember a year when a team didn't tank. So my question is, why is it an issue this year? It's been happening since the dawn of time. Like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything, but it seems like this is some sort of step-off point for some bigger plan. What that plan is, I don't know, but I can guarantee at some point the league's going to refer to this instance as the reason for whatever change is coming.
I think it's because the level of play or the level of the offenders. I think we're talking about the Jazz and the Pacers. And, great, now is the time to pay attention, right? If like Golden State's doing it, then it's okay. Exactly. But all of a sudden now it's a big deal. And I think, too, you get enough people talking about it, then you get enough people talking about how the Adam Silver commissioner era has gone haywire, and now he's, one of the worst commissioners in the history of professional sports. All this is coming up because of that talk. Now it's time for everybody to play fair, and I've stated this. I think that the Pacers, to me, are doing what's best for them and what's best for their fans, just like these individual players for how long now have done what's best in terms of load management and directing their career, what's best for them. This is nothing that is groundbreaking. This is the Pacers playing it. And I would also argue that you're going to have to come up with better evidence of tanking than a team being even, and especially at a time when they've won their last two on the road. This, to me, makes the NBA look awful for their timing once again.
Well, the last thing I want to say is Mr. Silver said something to the effect of, the fans don't want to see this. Baloney. Remember, refer back to the NFL, there was a chant going around, suck for luck. I mean,
right.
Fans want that. They want their team. If there's no reason for you to win a game other than to fall out of contention to get a low post-round pick, your team wants. Fans expect your team to suck.
Well, I will tell you this too, Jerry. It also comes on the heels of wondering whether or not this has more to do with the gambling partnerships that the NBA now has that they haven't had in the long-term past. That's something I think we can talk about too. And I will also tell you, I don't see any evidence in watching the Pacers play that their dudes aren't going out there and playing hard as they possibly can. I mean, hell, they're winning games. They won at Madison Square Garden. They won in Brooklyn the last two games out. So I don't know what everybody's griping about right now. But because they got that $100,000 fine, that's been made a point of emphasis by those yip-yappers on the national level. And frankly, I would tell the Pacers to continue to do and play it how you're playing it, because I think you're really, to me, satisfying both ends. And really what you've done in winning the last two, that's why this thing is at 52% currently for the Clippers to win over that possibility at 1 through 4. So I don't know what anybody's really complaining about right now, but they've found a measure and they need to complain.
Well, that's just it. There's no reason to complain other than it's got to be some other motive behind this. And I don't know what that motive is, but I can guarantee
I think I just saw money and the gambling money. You cannot tell me that does not play a significant role in all of this. You know, who you're in bed with and how that is portrayed, which that is a dynamic that in the long-term past you haven't had to deal with.
I think they're going to do something with the lottery or something, and they're going to say, this is why.
Yeah, well, and you know what? It's funny, and that's fine. That's fine, but I think you also, if you're the Pacers, for example, you're playing within the means and the situations in which you're given. I don't know what else. It's kind of like, complaining about the landscape of college basketball and coaches talking to players that are in and out of the transfer portal. They've been giving these options to utilize, and now you're playing within the ways and means that you're given in college athletics. So if you don't, you don't, and that's great if that, is your level of integrity, but you may end up being left behind. And that's, I think, where the Pacers find themselves. I think, to me, they've been compromised more than anybody in terms of legitimate injuries here. So I don't know, again, why anybody would be complaining about it, but they are. And fining, too, for that matter.
Well, I think you're hitting the nail right on the head. We're a small market team, and we're easy to pick on. And regardless of whatever the facts are about this, they're just going to say that, I guarantee at some point they're going to say, this is the reason why, even though it's been happening for at least 60 years.
Well, I mean, Philadelphia spent like 10 years in the process, did they not? I mean, hell. Nobody was crying about that. Nobody's crying about that because the crap didn't work for a decade.
Better go back and fine them $20 million for all that.
Yeah, I know, just for our ears hurting after that. Hey, I appreciate the call, Jerry. You call anytime.
All right. Thanks, John.
All right. 239-1070. Adam is up next. Hello, Adam. How are you?
Hey, John. Long time.
Good to hear from you, pal.
Yeah, you too. Sorry, I've been MIA. By the way, the new studio looks great.
Wait a minute. Hey, honestly, Adam, before you finish, does it look great because I look great or because it just looks great in general? What are you trying to say here?
Hey, man, it's a bigger spot for, bigger audience, so it fits you.
Thanks. I appreciate you, brother. What do you got?
Well, how are you and an old dry rub doing in there?
Dry rub. Well, I mean, dry rub. The nickname speaks for itself right there, Adam.
I hate how quickly this nickname is catching on.
Dry rub. Dry rub is having himself a hell of a day through the glass. I'm glad we're not in the same room any longer, if you know what I mean now. Yeah, I feel better being out here.
Oh, I bet you do. No. Hey, got a couple things for you. Next time you see Little Man at the stadium, he'll be walking. And I've been MIA for a while because, brother, I'm training for a 50-mile race in May. I'll be in Wisconsin.
50-mile race? Who races for 50 miles? What's wrong? What's happening? That's like the ultimate punishment right there.
Nah. It'll be my first 50-miler, so I'm going out with a bang, you know what I mean?
Well, I'm proud of you doing that. There's just, like, running, I can never get out of the thought that running was always a punishment for me. Running was a punishment for bad grades, staying out too late, being late for practice, getting my ear pierced. It was always, hey, go run, and it was always a form of punishment, and that's how I'm going to view it forever.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, we also had that talk about what do you do about chafed nipples. I mean,
yes.
Can you imagine what it's going to be like for 50 miles?
But you know what? You got to get a big gauze pad Like, I don't know anything about your nipples, but get a big gauze pad and just make sure those things are covered up. I mean, do you have like runner's gear that covers the nipples in case of chafing? Do you have that?
Yeah, we got all kinds of. People use Vaseline, people use Band-Aids, people use like a deodorant type substance.
What about you guys? Like have a bra or a bro or something like that you run in?
I mean, I don't run a no bra, but that's me.
All right. Do you just go? I mean, you could go shirtless, I guess, and then you won't have to worry about it, right?
I mean, I could, but then I wouldn't. I'm part of a running group, which I mean, I'm still trying to get you a shirt for it so you can, show it off on the show.
There's nothing like me in a running group right there. Yeah.
Well, hey, as long as you can sport the label, that's all. That's what friends are for.
You got it. All right, pal. Hey, the best of luck to you. Don't be a stranger. We love when you call.
Oh, will do.
You got it. Keep on running.
Thank you.
You got it. It's always been punishment. Cross country, long distance and track. And Blake did that at Roncalli, and I go, what are you doing? Whose kid are you? J-Law writes this to the break here, James. Owner of the Irish Lion retired the family that ran the pub for 42 years. Restaurant closed May 17th, 2024. It needed tons of infrastructure improvements to meet building code. Sucks. I gave a few presentations there during business school marketing class originally from 1880. It was one of my favorites of all time in Bloomington. And I have a lot of favorites. It was right next to the Crazy Horse, which is also one of my favorites. I had no idea the opening pictures on the show Cheers was that of the 1800s Irish Lion in Bloomington, though. That's awesome. Good info. Thank you, J-Law. Quick break. We'll come back. Is this the final time up next? Then we got a couple more here?
We got one more after this.
We got,
or maybe two more.
Yeah, we bail here like the 40 mark, I think, today,
540
right?
we're
All
at.
right, 540. So an early exit if you want to get in at 239-1070. Don't go anywhere. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. False start on the host of the show right here. I've mentioned this too. Now is a great time. I mentioned the warmer temperatures tomorrow. Get my friends John and Chris Love at Love Heating and Air into your place to make sure that your heating unit is doing the job that it should. Working at the highest level of efficiency. Here's why. Because we're going to dip back down to the cold temps, and you're going to find out a lot about your system when you don't necessarily need to lean heavily on it, if that makes sense. So call in the experts of Love Heating and Air. Do that today. Have them check out your system. And if it needs repair, you mention my name, and they're going to give you $95 off the service fee. So if you need a repair, you mention my name, they're going to give you $95 off the service fee with Love Heating and Air. 317-353-2141. John and Chris Love, the absolute best at love-hvac.com today. Hey, Best in Realty, Mark Dietel Realty, 317-755-4232, markdietel.com, MarkDietel.com. Today, I've told the story before, so Mitch from Martinsville, big listener to the show, hey, heard about Mark Dietel on the radio show here and decided to put Mark Dietel to work for him. It was the right choice because he got multiple offers within 48 hours, closed in 30 days. That is what Mark Dietel can do for you, exactly what Mark Dietel did for Mitch in Martinsville. In fact, Mark Dietel's the only real estate expert I trust and recommend with the sale of my home. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Pick your move date. There are no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. It's Mark Dietel, Mark Dietel Realty, 317-755-4232. Call him today. MarkDietel.com, MarkDietel.com today.
The Ride with JMV.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Anybody watching the Winter Olympics? I love, and anytime you have the Winter Olympics, and really anytime this year, Winter Olympics or not, you get a lot of replay of the Miracle on Ice in 1980. I love that stuff. Love it. I did want to give a shout out to Joe Sunderman with the thank you when, if you remember, Rick Carlisle called in, it'll be 2 weeks ago on Thursday after the Zubats deal, and talked about the $2 donation fundraiser that they were doing with the BOGO coupon with Penn Station East Coast subs. And that still goes on through the month of February, too. But I want to give a shout-out to Joe for sending that, and a lot of stuff, and for Rick to call in and, give that opportunity. Ask about that at your Penn Station East Coast subs locations, too. And that's something we had talked about with Rick, again, almost going back 2 weeks ago now, and we brought up on the JMV Takeover on Saturday nights, too. But it was very kind of Joe to send that out and send out that thank you. Yeah, pretty awesome, to say the least. Jordan and Carmel writes this. Didn't Philadelphia create a whole new strategy called Trust the Process when they decided to tank for multiple years? What a clown show. Like I said, when I say don't worry about it, and then you hear me like shaking my fist and rattling cages about it, I can do that. But the Pacers shouldn't worry about anything unless it pertains to them and their fans. And they're satisfying that right now. So everybody else can take a big smooch off our rear end. Seriously. They're satisfying that. If you've watched games at the Fieldhouse, the crowd is still coming in. The crowd is still very excited. And the Pacers are still trying to win games. Sure, it'd be better if they didn't. Sure, I hate even entertaining the phrase entertaining losses. But there's nothing that the Pacers are doing for the fans that doesn't have their best interest in mind. So in the NBA, you're worried about that someplace else. Or I tell you what, come up with new rules, new protocols that everybody has to follow. But until now, and until the rules do change, I don't mind, and you shouldn't either, what the Pacers are doing. At least you don't look like you mind when you go to games. And you know what the outcome of the season is going to be, and you're still going. And it's still loud, and you're still excited about it. And you got a 31-year-old dude out there playing his ass off, and he's in an all-star game with a team that's been awful this season record-wise. NBA. Yeah, I'll continue to shake my fist on it. You guys don't have to worry about it. I don't think there's anything for you guys to worry about. JMV, percentage chance of a top 4 pick for the 4 worst record teams. Top 4 pick percentages, bottom 4 teams. Worst team, first, 52.1 chance at the top 4. Second worst team, second, 52.1 chance of a top 4. Third worst, 52.1 chance for a top 4. Fourth worst, 48.1 chance of a top 4. I'm getting all geeked out right here. Thank you for that. JMV, how often do we ever pay attention to the last place teams, though? Seems like tanking is a big deal this year because it's Jacob, it's big for us because the finger is being pointed at your favorite team, the team that you care about. But again, as I mentioned, the Pacers are doing, I think, both on the floor and off it, what is best for them and you. And be damned everybody else, because I will tell you this, there's nobody else out there that gives a big fat crap about you guys or this organization. And nobody was running to the Pacer aid when Tyrese Halliburton went down in the second quarter in OKC in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. So everybody else can smooch it. And that is a true story. This is not a rallying cry for me, everybody else can smooch it. That is just a tale of this tape. They're doing what's best for their organization and for you. To me, that's all the reason you need to fully maintain behind the blue and gold. All right, quick break. We'll come back. Final time coming up next here, James. 239-1070 if you want to jump on board. If not, we're going to get you off to more great entertainment. I'll tell you what, coming up next. No, it's John for Premier Weight Loss. Get started on your weight loss journey today. The 2 Indy area Premier Weight Loss locations. Let me tell you about the greatness of Sam and Lauren and Thomas and the gang at Premier Weight Loss. They will help you reach your goals. And if you work alongside your weekly weight loss injections, which you get, if you work alongside that, you're going to see even greater results thanks to Premier Weight Loss. That's exactly how I feel. That's what I've done for the past year, and I continue to do right now, and you can do the same. So that's 317-643-4444 or pwlindy.com. Also ask about their electronic toning machine. I'm going through this right now, and I'm testing this out, and it is absolutely working. If you want to ask me about it privately, I will tell you all about it as well, but I'll tell you publicly that this thing absolutely works. There are things that I do that I may not share with you on the air, but I certainly would share with you off the air. I absolutely love this machine. It is the electronic toning mechanism, and you can get started on that today too, along with a variety of other things, including Botox at Premier Weight Loss. But again, if it's all about your weight loss journey, get started today. Tell them I sent you. Now is a great time. I will also give you some advice on that if you want that. I am down 80 and feeling great thanks to Premier Weight Loss. Get started today. 317-643-4444. That's pwlindy.com. Tell them JMV sent you.
The Ride with JMV.
I don't know what the hell's in there, but it's weird and pissed off, whatever it is.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
What in the world? I got to go early today? Beyond the Horizon with Greg Rakestraw, and then Trackside tonight here on The Fan. You're getting Peacock for the Boilermakers hosting Michigan tonight. Number 1, Michigan and our good friend Dusty May. And Purdue and our good friend Matt Painter collide on the Peacock tonight. Be prepared to get peacocked. Yeah, this is pretty Colts right here. So you're talking about a guy that plays all the time, and Michael Pittman Jr. being a cap casualty. And then you're talking about a guy that rarely plays, and Trey Hendrickson being the number 1 free agent target. This all makes perfectly good sense for the Colts. I do get the Pittman Jr. thing when it pertains to money and what he is and what you need and what you have to do. But the Hendrickson thing, I don't know about that. And I know you always love the grass is always greener type of stuff, but the only thing that really makes sense to that is the Colts can never find anybody that can give them what is necessary at that position, and because he played for Lou Anarumo. Other than that, 7 games last year, huh? Hey, James, I'm going to tell you about the cold medicine I took last night when I was doing the training session that I was doing last night and the dreams I had. You know, Kevin Bone and I had a fight in my dream last night. I beat the absolute dog crap out of him.
Well, I look forward to hearing about this.
Tomorrow. And James Boyd sat in the corner and giggled when we fought.
Well, we're going to have Kevin on tomorrow so you can challenge him to a real fight.
Boyd was giggling in the corner. That's coming up with Bowen tomorrow. Boilermaker Wolverine recap, too. Beyond the Horizon, Trackside, and more coming up tonight. James, thank you very much. You guys have been great. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.